Hello everyone. How are you? In today's class, you will focus on some of the definitions under GST. Right, like what's the definition of India? What's the definition of business? What's the definition of person? Taxable person? What is meant by it? You will see all this. Let's start. GST is applicable in India. So we need to know what India means and where it is applicable. For example, let's say we are in the water outside the boundary of India, okay? And right in the water, we bought some goods and services. Will GST be applicable or not? We need to understand up to what extent we call it India, or that India's land is India. Or say we are in the air above India, we are in an airplane. If we buy something there, will GST be applicable or not because we are in the air? So we have to know if air is part of India or not. Okay? We are in the sea, right? We are in the sea outside India's boundary and we are completely in the depths. Now, if we took any service or this service or goods is underground, then will GST apply or not? We need to know what is India, right? So let's see. It says that India means the territory of India as referred to in Article 1 of the Constitution. The territory of India mentioned in Article 1 of our Constitution is what constitutes India. So what's written in Article 1 of Constitution, territory of India means the landmass of India. India's land is India. So students, one thing is clear that India's land is India, the landmass of India. Constitution only states this much. In our Constitution, India means the land of India. After that it says, listen for GST, what's the meaning of India? It is territorial water. Its territorial water is also India. Okay, now what is this territorial water? Come, let me tell you. This is India. Everyone must already know what's here, right? What's here? Here is water. I made this water. The sea water is blue, right? This. Okay? Should we leave this space for Sri Lanka? Some may get angry and say, where did Sri Lanka go? Oh no, it's all gone. Yes, it's back. So this is India. And here, the water has extended up to 12 nautical miles from India's landmass. 12 nautical miles. Alright? The water extending up to 12 nautical miles is also India. See, just like we measure the earth in kilometers, similarly, when water is measured, it is measured in nautical miles. Got it? So, 12 nautical miles of water is also considered as India. So, even in this water, if you take some goods and services, GST will apply. Right? Okay, so do you know that if we convert 1 nautical mile into kilometers, how much will it be? 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.852 kilometers. It is this much. So you can say it's about 2 kilometers, okay? Almost 2 kilometers. So 12 nautical miles will be about 22 kilometers. However, when measurement is taken in water, it is called nautical miles. So up to 12 nautical miles of water is India. Then let's see what it is saying. It is saying seabed and subsoil underlying such water. Seabed and subsoil underlying such water. In this water, seabed means the absolute bottom. It's saying as far as you go down in this water, it's all India. India means the land of India. Outside India, the water outside of India, that is up to 12 nautical miles, that is also India. If you go all the way into that water, even then it is India. Okay. So till here the government will charge GST. Continental shelf is also India. Look, and now the continental shelf is also India. They call it continental shelf up to 24 nautical miles. 24 nautical miles, it's territorial, it is called TWI. Continental shelf till 24 nautical miles. From where 24 nautical miles? Pay attention, it's 24 miles from this boundary. From the boundary 12 is this, means if we talk about the territorial waters of India, then 12 more. So up to 12, it's territorial water of India, and from there, if we take 12 kilometers further, it's called continental shelf. So this continental shelf is up to here, it is up to 24 kilometers. It's still 24 nautical miles. Then this is also India, and then the exclusive economic zone is also India. Exclusive economic zone, it's very long. It has become almost 200 nautical miles. 200 nautical miles. Exclusive. Economic zone EEZ. This is also India. Okay, so everything is India. And any other maritime zone, any sea zone as referred to in territorial waters. And if India has declared any other sea zone as territorial waters, it is saying that will also become what? India. So it is saying that any other sea zone can also be called India. Okay, this is all for now. The airspace above its territory and territorial water. Above, that which is the air. Territorial water of India meaning this. This up to 12 nautical miles also include this much. Above that, the air which is there, that is also India. India and India's territorial waters above that, the air which is above the India's landmass and territorial waters, all that air also belongs to India. Definition of India extends not only to the landmass, but also to its territorial waters and the airspace above its Indian territory and territorial water. Hence, all the supplies made in such areas will be treated as supplies made in India. So, if any supply is made here, it will be considered a supply made in India. For example, just like if a cruise is sailing in the water and you're supplied with something in it, so GST will apply to that. If an airplane is flying over India and there's some supply in it, then GST will be applicable. Look at few examples. For example, musical performance by an artist on board a ship sailing from Chennai to Visakhapatnam. Chennai to Visakhapatnam, the ship was sailing, meaning it was going along the border of India, along the coast, right? So, if there's some music performance artists are giving on the ship, will they collect GST? Yes, they're providing musical performance service, so they'll take GST. Foods supplied on an aircraft flying from Delhi to Trivandrum. Flight is going from Delhi to Trivandrum and food being supplied on it. Obviously, GST will be levied since air above is. Air above India, that is also India. Now coming to the next definition, person. Now GST is applicable. Applicable in India. See, why did we study definition of India? Since GST is applicable in India. Why are we studying, right? We are writing it also, see. GST is applicable in India, so we have to know about India. GST is applicable on person, so we need to know about person. Did you understand? In India, it's applicable. On person, it's applicable. So let's know person on which it's applicable. But please pay attention. On whom the GST is applicable, you do not have to pay tax. It is applicable to you. The one who has to pay GST will be the taxable person. This should also be written somewhere. GST is payable by taxable person. If you are a taxable person, then you will pay GST. If you are a person, then it's applicable to you. You'll see there are a lot of things in the world. There's threshold limit, exemptions. After checking all these things, if you are outside of all those things, then we will say you are a taxable person. Because small traders aren't included, they are still considered persons, but they will be excluded. So first, let's understand who a person is, on whom the GST law will apply. Then we will learn about taxable persons, that they will pay GST. He will be paying GST. He is liable for GST. The GST. So, or we write it like this, person liable for GST. Person liable for GST. That will be, is taxable person. We need to look at two definitions one by one. Now we'll look at person. Then you will see after this taxable person. Okay? Person. Who is a person? Individual. You and I are individuals, we are persons. Hindu undivided family. HUF is a person. Hindu undivided family means family. Right? A family is also a person. He is the one who will pay GST. You already know that. In our country, individuals can also do any business, right? Even an HUF also do business. Sometimes it's a family business. Okay, there are three brothers, a complete family, they are doing business, right? So that is an HUF. Now a company is an artificial person. A company is also a person. So GST will also be levied on the company. Firm is person, LLP is person. What is LLP? Limited Liability Partnership. What is this? This is just a newer version of the firm. Firm means partnership. Firm means partnership. Actually, in our country, what started happening due to which LLP came? Concept of LLP came. People were not forming partnership firms. Two people were together doing business and they were forming private limited companies. Two people are partners in 50-50 ratio. They're actually in partnership, but they were forming company. Well, meaning of company is that Capital. You will take from many people, right? Many equity shareholders will be there. In the true sense, this is the meaning, isn't it? But since the law allows that just with two people, the private limited company can be made. So they will form, and for their whole life, there will be only two. Company law allow company to form with two people, since idea is that company will start with two people and gradually more people will join. That's why you're forming company. Right? More shareholders, stakeholders will come in there. But some people were sure that only two people had to work for their entire lives. Still, they form a company. Why? Now the difference was that in a partnership, the liability of the partners is unlimited. If the business incurs a loss, then the partners have to pay even by selling their land and property. But there's big saving in the company. None of these things, none of these problems have any meaning. If the company incurs a huge loss, like I am a shareholder in some company, even if company incurs huge losses or anything happens, my assets are not going to be touched. That's why people form companies. If anything happens, it will be the company's loss, not mine. That's why people were afraid of partnership firms. So the government said, you guys might face liability, and that's why you are taking the wrong name for your business venture. And you are doing wrong categorization. So it is better that we allow a partnership that is limited liability partnership. So in today's date, limited liability partnership can be formed. You can create an LLP. So the partner's liability is limited. The amount of money you invest in partnership is the maximum amount that can be lost, nothing more. If the partnership firm incurs a loss, then your assets will not be touched. So that can be done into partnership also with LLP. Association of persons, body of individuals, whether incorporated or not, in India or outside India. AOP, BOI, what are all these? A person. Right? Okay, see. In the context of persons, you have already referred to these names in taxes, even in income tax. If in this you have any confusion or difficulty in this, so therefore you can immediately check the definition of person related to income tax. The same definition is given here also. So don't worry if you're not able to understand anything. Now coming to AOP and BOI, what is that? Body of individual. Body of individual means if a lot of individuals come together and form something, so we call it. And start a business by forming a group, then it is called BOI. So you'll say a lot of people come together and do business, then we also call it partnership. So how's BOI different? Actually, a partnership is formed with a long-term vision. BOI is for a shorter duration. When we create something for particular objective, it's called BOI, meaning that's all we'll do and it'll be finished. Like suppose the Indian government announced in Varanasi that they would build a metro and the tender was issued. Okay, so now what I did was I took this tender together with someone else. Okay, we both are not running any business together. We do our own business, he does his own business, rather we are competitors. But for this business, we came together, we decided to do it together since it's not something I can do alone, building a metro. He said neither I can. We said let's not have big companies coming to Banaras and taking over our business. It's better if we both do it together. So we created a BOI. The moment metro work is finished, our relationship will also end. So that is BOI. AOP is exactly similar, just a version of BOI. Association of persons. In BOI, all the members, who will they be? They will be individuals. So the name is body of individuals. What can happen in AOP? Association of persons. In this persons can be members. Any person can be a member. Okay? That means one company and another company can form an AOP together. Look, Mr. X and Mr. Y can form BOI together. A limited and B limited, what can they form together? Say, they can form AOP. So, for example, let's say the person and I with whom I was doing business, both of us come from our individual names to do business together. Okay, Mr. A and Mr. B, then it will be called BOI. But suppose my company and his company will do this venture together. Okay, so the company has come together to do the work. So this will be like the company is a person, right? So that company is also a person, right? Persons will together make what? Association of persons. For example, let's say I as an individual, Mr. Raj, and A limited will work together. So tell me what will happen, AOP. But if all the members are individuals, then it is called a body of individuals. Any corporation established by or under any central act, state act or provincial act or government company as defined in clause 45. So a corporation established under a central act means for which a separate law was made. A law was made under the central act and their formation was made. Like ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. open their website sometimes. Okay, so you will see it is written Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and below it is written set up under an Act of Parliament. Set up under an Act of Parliament. So in Parliament, that means a central law has been made for its formation. Same thing is written ICSI, Institute of Company Secretaries of India, set up under an Act of Parliament. ICMAI, Institute of Cost and Management Accountant of India. Below it's written set up under an Act of Parliament. So these are all examples of this. These are all persons and GST will apply to them too. Okay, they will also take GST. Any body corporate. Incorporated. Okay. Now let me tell you one thing. You will say, sir, because you won't let me move ahead from here, right? It shouldn't become mess. Because actually, I am telling you about a person on whom GST is applicable. Okay, will they pay this GST? That will be the case when they are taxable person. Right. So GST applies to them. But the students still only know half the story. They don't know the whole thing yet. They'll get confused about that. The ICAI or ICSI that is charging you fees does not charge GST on it. Do you know this thing? Yes, there is no fee on that. GST applies to everything else like seminars or conferences. There is no GST on it. Why? Because in GST, there is a service whose name is education which leads to a degree. Any education by which you will get the degree, there is no GST on that. So you know, when you pay the registration fees for the CA examination, you can get a degree of Chartered Accountant. Okay, this is a degree, right? So, like when you do a CS course, you register for CS, then they can give you a degree, right? That is an education which may lead to a degree. That's an education that can lead to a degree that is not subject to GST. So, the fees that are charged to students are not subject to GST, but on rest of the things they're charging GST. They are a person, right? So that's not because it's a body, actually it's due to another reason. Like the universities gives you a degree. Okay, so those people don't take GST. Because you just need to remember that in education, the education that gives you a degree, you will not have to pay GST on that. You might ask, Raj sir, aren't you also providing us with education that will give us a degree? No. Raj sir cannot give you a degree. Raj sir cannot give you a degree. The degree can only be given by the institute where you are registered. You can get a degree, you become capable of that. Raj sir is preparing you for that. My education will never lead to a degree. Education is theirs, the one who is giving a degree. We are not giving a degree. After learning from me, the degree you will obtain will be from ICAI or ICSI. I won't be giving you any degrees. If I were providing an education where I would also give a degree, then my education would be tax-free. My education is not tax-free. GST is levied on me. You students pay GST. A cooperative society registered under any law relating to cooperative societies. Cooperative society is also person. Local authority like Gram Panchayat, Municipal Corporation. What are these? These are person. Central government, state government are also a person. Okay, these are also subject to GST. Societies. Like a society means what? It is like a, in which like, suppose if you live in a flat, then the building also registers itself as a society. Like the name of the building where I live in is Royal Residency. So, that building that's also registered under a society. Its name is Royal Residency Society. So, if the Royal Residency Society provides us with any service, it charges GST on it. Okay? However, there is an exemption that if this much money is collected from the members per month, it is exempted. GST will not be applicable. Means big societies collect more money from their members. So, in those cases, GST is applicable. But it's not applicable in small societies. That is a separate topic. See, don't misunderstand me. Why I am saying all this today, I don't know myself. While it shouldn't be said all this, whether GST will be applicable or not, these are person and GST law is applicable on them. Now, just because the law is applicable doesn't mean you have to pay GST. Okay, the law is applicable, but we don't want kids to mistakenly think that GST is applied or wonder if it's being applied here. So, the things you can personally relate to, I am also taking examples of those. There is a trust. Those who do charity, etc. Right? There are trusts for temples. On them also it's applicable. They are also persons. Every artificial judicial person, not falling within any of the above categories, if it does not fall under any of the above categories, it will be called an artificial judicial person and it is also person. For example, university. University did not appear anywhere above. This will come here. Okay. This was the definition of person. Now coming to the definition of taxable person. Who is a taxable person? Taxable person means a person who is registered or is liable to be registered under section 22 or 24. They're saying a taxable person is a person who is required to obtain registration under GST. Whoever has taken registration, he is registered under GST or he is required to take registration. Liable to be registered even if they have not registered. Like, I'm registered under GST, then I'm taxable person. I should get registered under GST. I am liable for registration, but I have not taken it. Then also I'm taxable person. You're liable to registered, right? Okay, registered or liable to be registered. In which section? In section 22 or section 24. What is section 22? Turnover based registration. What is section 22, students? Section 22 is turnover based registration. Alright, what is section 24? This is called compulsory registration. Do you remember section 22? I have told you many times that turnover based registration happens in GST. 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs, different places have different limits. Okay, so if your turnover crosses this limit, then you need to get registered under GST under section 22. You are registered under section 22 because of your turnover. Or if your turnover is high but you are not yet registered, then you are liable to be registered. Then also you'll be called taxable person. In section 24, some people are required to have compulsory registration irrespective of turnover. Turnover doesn't matter. You'll have to register in GST. Okay. So, people who are registered under section 24 because they are compulsorily required to be registered. Or otherwise, if you are compulsory required to be registered and you are not registered, then also you are also a taxable person. Every supplier shall be liable to be registered under the GST law in the state or a union territory from where he makes any taxable supply of goods or services or both. If his aggregate turnover in a financial year exceeds the specified limit, whatever, 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever it is. It has said a very profound point. Let's say, Raj, my turnover in UP is of 18 lakhs. And my turnover from Bihar, the supply we do from Bihar, this is the place of supplier. We're not talking about place of supply. We're talking about place of supplier. Means I also supply from UP. Means I have a shop in UP. I also have shop in Bihar. I'm talking about this. I am sitting in UP and selling goods all over India. So the place of supplier is UP, right? The place of supply is all over India. Here, this isn't the point. The place of supplier is in two places. So my shop is in UP. My shop is in Bihar. We are selling goods from UP. Wherever we want, we are selling it. We're selling goods from Bihar wherever we want. Okay, so 12 lakhs rupees is the turnover here. Let's say the limit of these two states. Do you know how much is the limit of these two states? 20 lakhs. Now the question arises, should I get registration or not? Should I get the registration or not? Because limit of UP is also 20 lakhs rupees and limit of Bihar is also 20 lakhs rupees of the turnover. My turnover is 18 lakhs, 12 lakhs. Mine is not crossing 20 lakh rupees. Let's read carefully what was written. Every supplier shall be liable to be registered under the GST law in the state or union territory in that state or in that union territory from where he makes any taxable supply of goods or services or both. From where he is doing a taxable supply of goods and services or both. If his aggregate turnover in the financial year exceeds the specified limit. How much is my aggregate turnover? 18 plus 12. 30 lakhs. Now we'll see. What's the limit of UP? 20 lakhs. My turnover is 30 lakhs. I have to get registration in UP. I need to get registration. What is the limit of Bihar? It is 20 lakhs. My turnover is 30 lakhs. My turnover is more, right? So I need to get registration. We need to get it here too. What was the limit for these both? The limit for both was 20 lakhs. Now come to second question. My turnover of CA, CS and CMA classes, let's assume 18 lakh rupees. And do you know, I am also running dance classes. My turnover from that Raj CSES CMA classes and one is Raj dance classes. My revenue from this dance class is of 12 lakh rupees. Okay. Now I am just telling this for your knowledge that these CSES CMA classes are taxable. And the dance classes are exempted. This is not taxable. Dance classes are exempted from tax. Okay. How much is my turnover? Taxable turnover is 18 lakh rupees. Both these turnovers are from UP state. My taxable turnover in UP is 18 lakh rupees and limit in UP is 20 lakh rupees. Limit in UP is 20 lakh rupees. My turnover is 18 lakh rupees. My turnover of exempted classes is 12 lakh rupees, but it is exempted. Do I need to get GST registration? This is exempted. GST isn't applied to it. Okay, GST isn't applied to dance class. You might be finding it a bit strange, right? Look at the government. What law have they made? On these educational classes, 18% tax is applied on them. And on these dance classes, tax is not applied on them, meaning the government is saying that dancing is a very good thing. On this, they won't even charge GST. They encourage that don't study, it's expensive. Actually, if you ask me honestly, and I am not joking, but sometimes I also feel very weird that how the government is thinking. Means, education is a necessity or is it a luxury? It's a necessity. Everyone should get education. The government should make education affordable. The government is taking 18% GST. This 18% and 28% are the higher slabs. The things which are basic necessities are kept at 5 and 12. The government keeps education in 18. I mean, I am completely against it, and generally I am biased towards education. Okay, because this is my job. So I personally feel that the government should not take 18%. If you ask me, I would say that there should be a 5% GST on education. Maximum 5% GST should be there. But the government will not do this because it is giving very high revenue, so the government will not reduce it. Now they feel that from all these coaching institutes, these online and offline coaching institutes bring in a lot of money. Tax revenue is high. Government doesn't want to lose that revenue, so they are taking taxes. Okay, fine, whatever it is. Now tell me if I need to get registration or not. So let's read again. What does it say? Every supplier shall will be liable to be registered under the GST law in the state or union territory from where he makes any taxable supply. From where he is making any taxable supply. Okay. If his aggregate turnover in the financial year exceeds the specified limit. Are you making any taxable turnover? If you are making any taxable turnover. So it is saying that you have to get the registration if the aggregate is more than the limit. How much is aggregate? 30 lakhs. Aggregate is more than limit. And are you making any taxable supplies? Yes, you are making any taxable. He is saying that any taxable supply. He is not saying about the amount that is there. He is saying that if you supply anything taxable from any state and your aggregate turnover is more. Okay, from the limit, so you will have to take GST registration. You have to take registration under GST. Okay, let's discuss third point. My turnover of dance class is 50 lakh rupees. Okay, in UP. Here, the limit is of 20 lakh rupees. And these dance classes are exempt. Do I need GST registration? Aggregate turnover is more than 50 lakh rupees. Aggregate turnover is more than 20 lakh rupees. Do I need GST registration? Answer is no, you don't. What it says is that you have to take the registration in that state from where there is any taxable supply. I do not have any taxable supply. Taxable supply is not there at all. The aggregate turnover should be more than limit and there should be some taxable supply. Now tell me one thing. Here, even after taking GST registration, what good will we do? We don't have to take the GST here. If you take GST registration, you'll be taking GST on this and giving it to government. Okay, you'll say, why is the government looking at aggregate turnover? Government is looking at aggregate turnover because they say that they want to keep small businesses outside the scope, but include large businesses in the scope. Whether you teach dance or take CA classes, you're a big businessman who is earning 30 lakhs rupees from sales. Aren't you a big businessman? So, okay, we won't take GST on dance. It's exempted. We won't take GST. We'll take GST only on this 18 lakhs. Let's talk about something else. Let's say that my CSES classes, its turnover is only 1 lakh rupees per year. This is taxable. and the dance classes. Turnover is 50 lakh rupees. Do I need GST registration? Answer is yes, because aggregate turnover is 51 lakh rupees. And I am doing some taxable supply, even if it is only for 1 lakh rupees. Do I need registration? There was no registration. GST will be applied on what? GST will be applied on taxable. GST will not apply on exempted. It will be applied on taxable. So it will be applied on 1 lakh. Okay, good. Am I teaching you about registration? The answer is no. When you will come to registration chapter, then you will understand it takes 2-3 classes just to explain whether you need to do registration or not. Yes, more than 3-4 classes will go in this. Just to understand whether you need to do registration of GST or not. Here you are saying that all this came so quickly. I am telling very basic thing. It's very basic thing. Okay, let's see next. So if you have any questions in your mind after reading all this, please don't bother to ask. Because we have only explained what's needed for now, as the process of registration has not been taught yet. So you have all these different varieties in your mind. Because as far as you can imagine, it is already written in the law. Okay, so don't put too much pressure on your mind. Okay? Give it some rest. Just listen to what I'm telling you for now. Because can other options come to your mind? Answer is yes, options will definitely come. Because we haven't explained the whole law yet. Okay. Now coming to 24. Some people have to take compulsory registration. Turnover is not considered. Following persons amongst others are also compulsory required to obtain registration, whether or not their turnover exceeds threshold limit. These people have to take compulsory registration, whether their turnover exceeds threshold limit or not. Non-resident taxable person. If any non-resident comes to India to do business, let's say that a non-resident is coming to India to open a shop. So okay, you have to get the GST registration. For non-residents, these exemptions are not applicable. Okay, who is the non-resident? Those people who stay in India for 182 days are residents. Okay, all this is explained in income tax. Who is resident? I'll not explain here. People who stay in India for more days are residents. Those who stay in India for short period are non-residents. That's enough for you. Okay? Those who are non-residents who stay in India for shorter period, if they open shop in India, they have to compulsorily register under GST regardless of their turnover. Casual taxable person. Now, who is a casual taxable person? Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention. I didn't focus on this, otherwise I have already told it. That you have to get the registration state-wise. We get the registration done in all those states in which states we do supply. Right, as you might have seen here, I took the first example of someone who need to do registration in UP as well as in Bihar. Write both these registrations separately. If I supply from 5 states and aggregate turnover from all 5 states is more than 20 lakh rupees or whatever the limit is. If it exceeds that, then I have to do registration in all 5 places. Okay, from those 5 states, limit of one state is 10 lakh rupees. If total goes beyond 10 lakh rupees, then also you need to get registration everywhere. Means if we are supplying from 5 states, that means my shop is in 5 states. So you need to see where is the lowest limit out of these 5 states. If it's exceeding that limit, then just do the registration everywhere. Right? Okay, now who is casual taxable person? Let's say I am registered in UP. Because I only supply in UP, my shop is also located in UP. There is going to be a fair in Bihar. Okay? Then I thought that the goods would be sold at this fair, so I made 5 or 6 bags and loaded goods in it. We caught the train and left for Bihar. We thought we will set up a stall at the fair and we will start selling the goods there. So this person is called casual taxable person. Did you understand who is casual taxable person? Those who go to another state and casually sells goods, not always. He will casually go and sell goods. Right? And those are registered in any one state. Now listen, that casual taxable person. First of all, they are taxable person, meaning they are registered under GST somewhere. And he's casually going to another state. So he is saying you have to immediately get registration of another state. Do you understand? Okay? Pay attention. I put selling carts in UP. I am street vendors. I am not registered in GST. I thought no, I won't put street stall in UP now. I will put street stall in Bihar. I took the stall and reached Bihar. Do I have to get GST registration? No, you are not a casual taxable person. These street vendors keep setting up their stalls everywhere, one day in UP, then next day in Bihar, and then in Delhi. They don't need registration. Listen to me again very carefully. I am a registered supplier in UP. Okay? And I am going to Bihar to sell goods for 1-2 days. For any reason, I took the goods in the bag and went to Bihar to sell them. I will sell goods from Bihar. So I will have to get registration in Bihar. So tell me one thing. I sell goods from UP to Bihar, so do I have to get registration in Bihar? No, it's place of supply. Where there is place of supplier, registration is required there. Okay, so while being in UP. Okay, students are watching my videos from everywhere. From all over the country. Some are international too. Okay, so do I need to get the GST registration across the country? No. Why? Because the place of supplier is just this, where I'm sitting. This is the place of supplier. I am supplying from one place. I am in UP. I am supplying only from here. Whoever wants to take can be from anywhere. Will take registration of one place. Okay, this same coaching class, if it will be both in the UP and in the Bihar, I am teaching from UP and teaching from Bihar. So I need to take registration. From both places, I will take registration in UP and Bihar. But being in UP, my place of supply is the entire India. Then also I have to take just one registration because you have to take registration. In the state in which you have a place of supplier, these two will have to compulsory get registration. Okay? Recipient of supplies of goods or services that are notified for tax on reverse charge basis. There is reverse charge in GST as well. In some cases, it happens that the one who supplies the goods, the supplier is a small trader and the buyer is the big trader. Government says, look, small trader is not registered under GST. They ask us that, Raj, are you a big trader? And I said, yes. Then they say, do one thing, you pay his GST. I will say, what is this? They say, it's reverse charge. We are imposing the reverse charge. Okay, so whoever sells the goods, they include the GST in their bill from the recipient. Okay, and he pays the government. Government says that he is small trader. How will he get GST and give it to us? He can't do this. He can't handle all this paperwork. You do one thing. If you are buying goods from him, then don't give him the GST. Because he is small trader, he is outside the scope of GST. That GST which is levied on your purchase, you give it directly to us. This is reverse charge. Okay? If I get the responsibility to pay the GST under the reverse charge, it's in some cases reverse charge is not applied to everyone. So if I am liable to pay GST under reverse charge means if I have to pay GST on my purchase, what is the point of sales no matter how much your sale is? Whether it's 1 lakh, 2 lakh or anything else, I have to get registered under GST as not due to sales. But due to purchase, I have to pay GST to government. So I have to get registration under GST. It says that if you have the necessity to pay the GST due to the purchase, then you have to take registration of the GST. Persons such as agents who make taxable supplies on behalf of other taxable persons. Persons such as agent who make taxable supplies on behalf of other taxable persons. There are some agents, what do? They sell goods on behalf of someone else. So they also need to get GST registration. For example, I will tell you an example of an agent. Those who put up exhibitions. Painting exhibition. What do? They tell the painters who paints to put their paintings in his exhibition. Okay? So tomorrow my exhibition will open here and the customers will come and see. If they will like the painting, I will sell it on your behalf. And then I will deduct my cut and will make the payment to you. Means, let's say I'm going to put up this exhibition. So I don't buy paintings from anyone. I'm going to put up an exhibition. I tell the painters to bring their paintings and put them here. Okay, tomorrow people will come to my exhibition. If they like your painting, I will sell it on your behalf. So what I mean is we didn't pay even a single rupee to the painter. We just put his painting in our exhibition area. We just displayed it. If painting will be sold, then we'll pay him. If not, we'll tell him to take his painting back. That's how exhibition business works. So now when I give the painting, then I'm selling the goods like an agent, right? Because I am not the owner of that painting. So how can I sell it? Here, I am selling that product as an agent. Okay? So I will have to get registration in GST. This is mandatory. How much my turnover is, it doesn't matter. Imagine it this way. An agent is someone who sells goods without actually buying them. Okay? So anyone who sells goods without actually buying them, that person has to get GST registration. Will you remember that? If you won't, so it's your problem. What can I do? Electronic commerce operator. What does electronic commerce operator mean? Those people who create the electronic platforms, where the buyer and seller come together and meet. For example, Amazon is an electronic commerce operator. Flipkart is electronic commerce operator, in short we call it ECO. They are doing fantastic business, these buyers and sellers. Buyer put up their goods. Seller puts up their goods, buyer buys them from there, Flipkart takes its commission. Okay, they have made a platform. Right, what is Amazon? It's an ECO, an electronic commerce operator. They have made a platform. So what is an ECO? A platform, an online platform, where the buyer and seller do transactions. That's called an ECO. Okay. So, sales amount doesn't matter. These ECO have to get registration. Government also knows that ECO is not small trader. Small businessman can't be an ECO, it's big businessman. He has to get registration. Now person supplying OIA/DAR services. Yes, everyone's habit is to write this in short. The name of this service is so big, online. OII means information, online information. And data access, retrieval services. Online information and data access retrieval services. What is this OIA/DAR service? That service which is active when internet is active and inactive when internet is inactive. Such service is called OIA/DAR. Means we can give you service. We can give you service when internet is on. If internet is off, then service is off. So this is called OIA/DAR. So you might say that is my online classes also fall under OIA/DAR. Because when internet is on, your service is on. Otherwise, it is off. No. Because my service is separately written as educational services. If any service is defined in any another category, then it will go there. Otherwise, see, because my service is education. Okay, this is education. It has separate category service where providing is education, as it's written in education category that it can be provided through any mode, but it's education. So this point is not applicable. It is written that whether it's virtual or it's online. Or anyway, education means education, that's all. Okay? Let me take an example of OIA/DAR like we have songs. What's in it? If internet is on, then listen the song. If internet is off, song is off. Okay, Netflix is OIA/DAR. Internet is on, movie is on. Internet is off, movie is off. But you will say, we just download it offline. We watch it later when the internet is off. But students, you don't take it out, you watch it inside the app. Okay? So whatever you are watching later, that much internet was already taken at the time of download, right? Okay, you are watching within the app. So this is also called OIA/DAR. Okay? Means whatever you are watching later, that much internet was already used. Okay, therefore it is called OIA/DAR. If you are watching within the app, think of it like this, services that you watch offline within the app, those are also part of OIA/DAR. Because being online, you downloaded the data, but it's only within the app. Okay, yes, if you will download the data and it will come out of the app and you can watch it whenever you want, then it is not OIA/DAR. Okay, OIA/DAR means, see if it's within the app, then also it is called OIA/DAR. Now that which is downloaded within the app, that is also OIA/DAR. Now the government. What it has said here, person supplying OIA/DAR services from a place outside India. They are supplying OIA/DAR from outside India to an unregistered person in India. What is this actually? I will tell you. Like on Google Play Store. And on Apple Store, there are many apps that are of 50 rupees, 40 rupees, 100 rupees, 200 rupees. Okay, we install that app. Okay, and we make the payment. Who are we paying? We paid to a foreign company. Our government is very worried. You know, there are so many people in our country who download apps from Google Play Store, App Store and many other apps. They download these apps and pay money which is going outside country. Government is neither getting a rupee or a quarter. Okay, I will tell you something. Can you see my app here? This one, I'm running it on what? I have downloaded an app. Okay, I download it from Apple Store. I teach this on iPad. Let me tell you, I am using an Apple Pencil. I'm teaching on the iPad, but I downloaded an app. I'm teaching this on that app. And I got this app for $6. Right? I got this for $6 means how much is it? 8 times 540 plus 8. It will be around 500 rupees. This app is of 500 rupees. A foreign company got 500 rupees. Now this is what the government is saying. That these people go to Play Store, App Store, they download the app. app of all foreign companies is there. They are downloading app, payment is going to them, and here government is not getting even single paisa as tax. So the government said that if you are providing YADR services, means you are providing some online services. So you have to get the GST registration in the India. And if you will not take the registration, then you know what I mean, all those apps that you can see on the Play Store in India, they all have OIADAR if they are providing OIADAR services. So they have taken GST registration in India. Otherwise that app will not be visible in India. It will be on Play Store, but it won't be visible in India. Right, so it means that government removes the app from Play Store. It tells Google that this is against our laws. Remove it from here, it shouldn't be visible in India, but will be visible in other places on Play Store. Did you understand? Like we advertise on Google, so that's an advertisement service. Okay, so all these foreign companies have registered because the services which they are providing in India, they are liable for GST. Okay. Okay, now coming to the aggregate turnover. You were seeing there repeatedly the aggregate limit. If the aggregate turnover is above the limit, then you have to get registration. What is aggregate turnover? Aggregate turnover means all taxable supply, excluding the value of inward supplies on which tax is payable by the person on a reverse charge basis. Sometimes I have to pay tax on purchases, but that's not included. Okay, turnover means sales. This confusion should not be there. So on whatever we pay GST, that is turnover. If you are paying tax on a purchase, then you are definitely paying tax, but that is purchase, it won't become sale. Okay, don't make this mistake. So taxable supply, exempt supply, export that you are doing. Interstate supply meaning interstate, intrastate, export, exempt, all the types of sales, whatever it is, all is counted in the aggregate. Okay, do you remember exempt supply? The one with 0% is called exempt supply, and the government exempts it through notifications or special orders. Remember or forgot? Notifications or special order. After that, in exempt supply, there are 5 petrol products plus alcohol. All of those which are not associated with GST at all, they will also be counted in aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover includes all your sales. If after adding all your sale, the aggregate turnover is more. And from how much? From the limit, then you need to get GST registration if you have any taxable supplies. For example, I am in UP state, my work is related to alcohol and I have sale of 1 crore rupees. Do I need to get GST registration? Limit is 20 lakhs. Limit of goods is 40 lakhs. We are only selling goods. Limit is 40 lakhs rupees. I am selling alcohol worth 1 crore rupees. In UP, do I need to get GST registration? Limit is more than our sales, but we still don't need to register. Why? Because my supply is not taxable. You had studied very well. Your taxable supply should be there and your total turnover. You should have some taxable supply. And total turnover should be more than the limit. Okay, students? Total turnover is more than limit, but I don't have taxable supply. Mine is exempt supply, we just sell liquor. The petrol pump owners, they sell petrol of many crore rupees. So their aggregate turnover goes up. The lubricant is subject to GST. It is taxable supply. It's little bit like 4-5 lakhs rupees per year, but they have to get GST registration because their aggregate turnover is higher than the limit. Right, there is some taxable supply, little bit of taxable supply is there. Now a petrol pump owner sell petrol of 50 crore rupees. Petrol pump owner sales petrol of 50 crore rupees and lubricant of 1 lakh rupees. Will he have to get GST registration? Yes, he has to. Because turnover is more than the limit. And there is some taxable supply. Right? Of persons having the same pan to be computed on all India basis. We add the turnover of one pan, like Raj Agrawal's pan. Okay, this is the pan, and we will add all the turnover which is on this pan. Okay, like my turnover is Study at Home Private Limited, it's another company. If some turnover is of Study at Home Private Limited and some is of Raj Agrawal, then these two will not be added together. Pan of Raj Agrawal is different and pan of Study at Home Private Limited is different. Both pan will be checked separately. These are two different individuals. Right? It will be checked that how much turnover is there on one pan. Remember this. Okay. Turnover is after removing the taxes. Like, if I sold goods of 1 lakh rupees, There was 18% GST on this 18,000 rupees, so it became 1,18,000 rupees. So what will be the turnover? 1 lakh. This is the turnover. Okay, turnover. Excluding the GST figure is the turnover. If excluding GST figure cross this limit of 10, 20, 40, so GST registration has to be taken. Okay? So in today's class, how many definitions did we see? 4 definitions were seen. Of India, of person, of taxable person, and of aggregate turnover. In the next class, we will see more definitions. We have to see lot of definitions in GST.